Hello, and welcome to Zenith Unlocked Freedom from Addiction. I hope that you're learning a lot in this course and that it's helping you overcome your addiction. This is the last session of the 7th key on humility. In our discussion of humility, we talked about how important it is to know yourself. One aspect of yourself that is important for you to know is your purpose for being here. Knowing this will help you feel more secure in who you are and help you make progress in your goals, especially the goal of freedom from addiction. So many people in our day and age talk about progress and how we need to make progress. I absolutely agree. However, if your destination is a 1,000-foot cliff, then making progress is not all that good. Yes, we want to make progress. However, first we want to choose our destination. And if you're choosing a destination, then you want to answer two questions. Why do I want to go there? And how am I going to get there? Now, I can drag on this whole analogy and talk about a time I went to the beach as a kid, and we went because we wanted to have fun and I needed to pack my swimsuit, but I think you already understand what I'm getting at. And I understand some might have an issue with what I'm saying because the progress that is usually spoken of is not about a destination, but about a goal. However, my framework still holds up. If you want to make progress toward a goal, but your goal actually ends up hurting you and your friends, then the progress is not good, and you should not want to make progress. However, the goal of this session, of which I hope I'm making progress, is that we are aiming to find our purpose. This is why I'm talking about progress, destinations, and goals in the first place, because these things all have to do with your purpose. In fact, your goal or destination is your purpose that you want to make progress toward. So if you are a fireman, your goal is to put out the fire, and so that is the purpose of a fireman. For a teacher, their purpose is to form and educate their students. A military general is meant to encourage, train, and lead his men to achieve victory against the enemy. Okay, so these are all jobs held by people. But doing those jobs is not the entirety of the purpose of these people. There is more. Work is actually one of your lesser purposes on earth. There are two other lesser purposes and then a grand purpose that arches over the three lesser purposes. We actually break down all of the lesser purposes that everyone has into three categories. We can see that every human is seeking to meet each of these goals, which we remember is synonymous with purpose. We also remember that when I say lesser, I do not mean that these purposes are not still important. They are just not as good as the grand overarching purpose. Here are the three lesser purposes: your purpose to work, your purpose to love, and your purpose to happiness. First, let's talk about your purpose to work. We all have a job on this earth, something that allows you to use your gifts and talents to benefit others and provide for yourself. This would include any job that does not receive payment, such as a housewife, as she would still be providing a tremendous amount, not just for herself, but for the whole family. The next purpose we all have is the purpose to love. Each of us should seek to love one another. And there are some very loving people out there. In fact, I think that addicts are the most loving people. I think that is why we are addicts. I've never met an addict who does not have a huge heart. But what happens is that often their love, which is extreme and powerful, is not reciprocated by the world. They are loved by others, but just not at the same level that they love. And for some reason, this does not fill them the same way. Then they experience the thing that they are addicted to, and that makes them feel incredibly loved. It may sound strange, but it's true. So we as addicts need to remember that we are loved, but also remember that we have a purpose to love as well, that we are on this earth to love others and treat them well. There are no restrictions to who we are to give this love to, and there is not any reason why you should not continue seeking to make progress toward the goal of loving others. We are especially called to love our families and seek to nurture them, care for them, and lead them to find their purposes as well. Finally, the third purpose of every single human is the purpose to be happy. This one might seem like the most obvious, as we can recognize that everyone wants to be happy. Truly, it's the most obvious motivation that we can observe in every action taken by ourselves and others. You are not meant to have a sad existence. This is part of the reason why you need to quit your addiction. To find happiness, living out your purposes to love and work will help. Another thing that helps with happiness is discovering the activities and experiences in life that you truly enjoy. Find a hobby or experience that excites you, helps you find community, and you will find that your list of reasons to look forward to every day grows more and more.